Back with another video for you today. Today we've got a ginger balm to talk about. It is called Oud Radieux from the house of Cartier. Dahlia's holding the bottle, and this is from the Heures Voyageuses collection of oud fragrances, and it's Oud Radieux. Parfum concentration. We're going to talk about this fragrance because we really love it. It's an oud, but it's more of a ginger oud. So if you want to find out about this ginger balm, please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. If this is your first time tuning into the channel and you love watching fragrance reviews, finding out about new fragrances, discovering new brands, participating in giveaways, and still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So Cartier has a very pricey oud or oriental collection of fragrances. They have a Heures Voyageuses collection. It's fragrances inspired by different times in the clock, and they've had that collection for a while, and then they launched the ouds, and there were several that I really liked from this. The Oud Santal is great, the Oud and the Oud and Musk. The Oud and Rose is a little on the animalic side for me, but when I first smelled Oud Radieux, this one, and I don't know why they made this one called Oud Radieux, whereas the other ones they were naming after the notes, I fell in love with this fragrance right off the bat. It smelled great, but I have to give credit to a friend by the name of Jessica, who is a frag head, and if you're watching, Jessica, and this goes out to you because you came to San Francisco from Belgium and you brought your fragrance with you, and at that time is when I fell in love with it. I had smelled it before, but when I smelled it on you, it was great. So I ended up buying a bottle. It's $3.50 for 75 ml. It is a pure perfume concentration and it smells great. The perfumer is Mathilde Laurent. She is the in-house perfumer for Cartier, and this is considered a woody, spicy fragrance. So I had you smell it here last summer and you liked it as well.
I loved it. I was crushed when I saw the price tag on it. I hadn't heard of Les Voyageuses. I didn't know Cartier had an oud line. I don't honestly understand why it's called Oud Radieux. I think it's ginger. The notes listed are ginger, oud, and Sichuan pepper. Sichuan
pepper, yes.
And I've kind of had this very passionate love affair with Sichuan food this last summer. So I was kind of traipsing around San Francisco finding restaurants that had, spicy noodles and things. So I don't really even get the pepper quality. There isn't that kind of heat to it, but the ginger is effervescent. It shimmers. But it doesn't feel gourmandy exactly. It feels, and it doesn't feel like ginger ale. But it has staying power, and that's Mathilde Laurent is a genius because I haven't smelled this before. And what's the wear like? You've had this for a while. So
I've been wearing it for a while. I'm obsessed with the smell. I think for me, if you're ever looking for a ginger fragrance, this is it. It smells so authentic to ginger. It reminds me of me chewing on ginger, pickled ginger at a Japanese restaurant, but this is more dry version of that because pickled is usually watery and things like that. And this is very zingy. Like the word zingy comes to mind. Zingy spicy. The ginger is very spicy. You can experience it. And then Dahlia also said that she doesn't experience the Sichuan pepper much. It is there. It's under there. It just adds another layer of a spice kick to the ginger. But Sichuan pepper is almost like black pepper. It's they're little round, not pink pepper and not black pepper, but it's like similar. So there's a little bit of a spice to it. And sadly, even though it's called Oud Radieux, I don't get oud as much as I want to with this fragrance. It's more about the other two spices, and the oud is there to just give it like a base to the fragrance because the ginger and Sichuan eventually wear off and you're left with the oud, but it's a short-lived oud because the ginger just overpowers for me.
And on my skin, for me, there isn't any kind of animalic oud. There isn't. It does have an anchor. But the experience of it is that, as you said, zesty ginger, almost with a lemony quality. I don't get the
I said zingy ginger?
Oh, you said zingy, but I feel like there's almost a citrus that's not listed, at least in how it wears on me, and maybe that's part of the effervescence. but it's a clean fragrance. And elegant in a way. It's, you know, we've been talking about food, but there's nothing about this that is suggestive of going to a restaurant. And I just got this waft from you. It's very beautiful.
If you stop and smell this fragrance on you, there's something smoky under there, almost like incense. I don't know if it's the Sichuan pepper or if it's the combination of the notes together, because when you look up the notes, only 3 notes are listed: ginger, oud, and Sichuan pepper. But when you smell it on you and you kind of smell it and study it and smell it and study it, it does have this like smoky, incensey touch, which I really, really like about it, because even though it's ginger, it's a smoky ginger, and I guess ginger can have smoky qualities, couldn't it?
I guess what I was just thinking is if you... At least in my experience, the Sichuan peppers have a numbing quality. It's not a spiciness per se. It's almost like not like Novocaine, but it's a heat. You do get that like spicy food reaction of sometimes you'll get maybe a little sweaty or a little, you know, if you kind of have this almost like zened out calm that. I don't know what, maybe this is specific to me. If you've had Sichuan food, let me know if you've had this numbing kind of zen spicy food experience. But there is some aspect of that. Not that this numbs me, like I'm not deadened to the world, but I find it very calming.
What do you think? Look at this. You always say that about incense. It's calming for you.
That's true.
So this has to me, I'm smelling it more and more on me. It's like, not an incense that's burned. It's almost like the resin, fresh resin.
Yeah, I would totally go for that. Here's it on me over there.
Oh, wow.
Very different. But you get the kind of zestiness on me. It's much more zen on him. It's great. It's not something that I would ordinarily, if you said, hey, did you know that your collection is missing a ginger fragrance? I wouldn't be like, why, yes, let me give you my money. I wouldn't have thought about it. I did immediately go and look up the price, and I was upset that it's $350.
It is $350, but last summer I had a friend visiting from New York City, and we did go around sniffing fragrances, and I took him to smell this. He ended up buying it.
Of course he did, because it's beautiful.
But they did gift him some things, additional little gifts along with the purchase, so I think it kind of like justified spending that much money. But everyone I've turned this on to, they've really loved and fell in love with it. It is a price tag that they're kind of like put off with, but...
I mean, it's Cartier. I guess that's a luxury brand. Would you say this is year-round, or is there a season where it's a better fit?
I think this is not necessarily a winter.
I could feel that would be in the cold weather, it would just float away.
I feel like this is a fresh spice rather than a warm spice. And for me, warm spice is for colder weather. Fresh spice is more for, you know, warmer weather. Okay. And I feel like this will work better in a warmer weather rather than winter weather, like colder weather. I haven't really worn it in winter. I picked it up last spring, late spring. So I've worn it in summer. It comes alive in the heat, especially when your body heat rises and you're sweating. The thing projects a lot and it smells just divine.
So does it have that same kind of cooling effect that maybe a more barbershop, a traditional splash or classic kind of maybe fougere would have? Because it doesn't have any of those notes, but does it have that effect?
I believe, to me, it's more like eucalyptus.
Okay.
It has this like eucalyptus kind of experience rather than like barbershop notes like lavender or geranium or something. A eucalyptus I find to be a spicy leaf, and this is a very spicy, I guess it's a vegetable or herb. Or
it's a root.
Root. It's a root. So...
might be. I don't think it's a vegetable.
Would you consider it a...
root? No, they'll tell us in the comments.
What I like about this fragrance, it's very original.
Yeah.
I mean,